Hey, Stolen Cousin. You already know what time it is. Animated horror stories. Animated horror stories. Mm-mm-mm. Let's get into it, y'all. Three new job horror stories animated with our homies. I am our scary tale. You hear me? Like, what is y'all doing at these new jobs? I think the last one that we've seen about some jobs, it was like birthday related. I want to like not be mistaken. The new people that was at work was getting like bullied and then it turned into like the girl like killing everybody. Hold on, go back and watch the birthday one. Get a bit ruffed your feathers. But let's get on into it. Thank you guys for joining me. I would say, with another daily video. It's so funny because we just gonna end up going through every channel we come through. I'm gonna need y'all to suggest me with some new channels sooner or later because I be posting and I'm gonna need some more videos, more content soon. Eh. I am gonna be throwing some more into the React channel, but that's that's another day, another story. I'll explain that in a React video. Right now, let's get into this horror. Okay, three true new job horror stories animated. Let's get into it. Go on and like the video. Support your cousin. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. You should be subscribed though, because we're like this. And I'll ask you something to comment throughout. Go on and grab your blunts, please. A bottle of water, a bag of chips, and a blanket so you can be snug in. All right, all right. Let's get into it. What is
This
y'all
happened
doing?
last year while I was broke and struggling to make ends meet. I had just moved out and
Broke and
didn't want to
struggling.
resort to going back to my parents.
Okay,
Anyways, I was incredibly desperate for a job and began searching Craigslist night and day.
it
I
be that
don't
way.
even remember how many applications I sent to various people. After responding to several,
I said it'd be that way, but I've never looked for a job on Craigslist. Have you ever looked for a job on Craigslist, y'all? If you have, please comment. What was the job? How did it go? You know, like I don't know, Craigslist is creepy. Like why would you want to do something on a list by Craig? You know? Why would you expect Craig to find you a good job? His name is Craig. You know? I don't trust nobody named Craig, to be honest. Oh wait, no. Yeah. I don't trust nobody named Craig. Mm-mm. I was about to say I think I got Uncle Craig. But even if I do, untrustworthy because your name is Craig. But again, have you ever looked for a job on Craigslist? Yes or no? In the comments. Tell us your story in the comments. Please and thank you. If I get enough comments of people that have done Craigslist, that has, got a job through Craigslist, I might do a video about it. I'll read them all off. So please give me a good story, make it lengthy. Please. Please.
desperate for a
I'm
job and
nosy.
began searching Craigslist night and day. I don't
Crazy.
even remember how many applications I sent to various people. After responding to several, I got a bite back from someone who had advertised themselves as a disabled man who needed help with his morning and evening routines. There wasn't much info on his
Okay.
illness, but what caught my attention was the pay. As a past caregiver, I thought, how hard could it be to help out a disabled man? So, I agreed to do it. He shared his address and I arrived there the next morning without failure. The man lived in an apartment. The neighborhood was quiet, and the building itself appeared to be lacking maintenance. Nothing shocking, to be honest. I knocked on the door and heard a voice from the other side.
It's
Who's that?
open! Please come in!
Upon
Watch
entering,
him not be
I saw a
crippled.
man about the age of 50 to 55, sitting in a wheelchair. He had a bottle-shaped face and the bottom of his eyelids stretched downwards. The feeble, prickly hair on his head made him look like a homeless person. To top it off, he had these beaver teeth that made his overall appearance rather disturbing.
Come closer, dear, so I can see your face. These old eyes don't work well.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Yeah,
We
try to
talked on the
pop on
phone
you.
last night?
I know who you are. You're not just smart, but pretty as well. I like pretty girls. I hardly get to see any these days.
You're not smart, but a pretty girl.
Now, as
What do you
disturbing
mean?
as it may sound, I had no choice. I was already there and I needed his money. I put my jacket on the hook and asked,
So, what do you want me to do first?
How about we start with a bath? I haven't taken one in weeks.
"Oh,
You
damn,
nasty ass
that's bad."
bastard.
But I knew what I was stepping into, so I grasped his wheelchair and started taking him to the bathroom.
Do you live alone?
I do now. My wife died 3 months back. She was the nicest woman.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Call me Daniel.
Okay, Daniel.
Once we were inside the
Oh,
bathroom,
no.
I saw a tub filled with dirty clogged water. The sink was so bad that I almost vomited.
I'm sorry for the mess. My legs don't work anymore, which is why I'm unable to clean the apartment.
Well, you should hire help for that too.
Yeah, I'm just learning to use Craigslist, so maybe next time. Isn't it amazing what you can do on the internet? I mean, you can meet anyone so easily.
Yeah. Please take off your t-shirt so I can start with the bath.
He grinned and took off his t-shirt.
You gonna
It
put
was
him in the
surprising
dirty
to see
bath?
so much chest hair on his body. I poured the body wash on his back and started scrubbing it with the loofah.
It tickles.
It was getting extremely irritating as he spilled water and soap everywhere, even on my clothes.
Okay, we're done here.
What? Really? But I was having so much fun. Your hands are so soft.
I
Sir,
washed my
come
hands
on.
and threw a towel at him.
Your hands work, right? Dry yourself off, Daniel. That little movement will be good for your health.
He gave me an angry stare and then did what he was told. After the bath, I helped him get dressed. Here, he also stared at me the entire time and kept smiling like a creep. I took him to the dining table and went to make him some food. I cooked enough pasta for him to live off for the entire week, and came back with 2 plates to eat.
Amy, before we eat, can you do something for me?
Look,
What?
Daniel, I've got to get home early, and it's already difficult enough for me in life, so please don't.
I'll pay you an extra $500 for this, so
What do
it'll
you
be
want?
$800 a day.
After this, I couldn't say no.
You
That
could.
much money will help me get by for weeks until I can find a decent job. So, hell yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Good girl. I just want to have a pleasant dinner with a pretty lady. You know, my wife's clothes are still in my bedroom. Why don't you wear something from that and join me?
Really? You want me to wear your dead wife's clothes for $500?
Like,
Please.
crazy.
I suppose it was better that he wanted me to wear clothes instead of asking me to take them off. I went to the bedroom and, oh my, there were so many dresses. Most of them felt new. Weird, huh? I chose a red dress and came back to the table.
Wow! I bet you never looked this beautiful.
Thanks.
Talk about my guy.
Let's eat so I can leave soon.
We ate in silence. He just goggled at me with his eyes and it made me feel sick. But I needed the money, and as long as his hands were away from me, it was fine. I finished dinner and changed back into my clothes to leave. While giving me the money, his filthy hands brushed against mine. Pervert. I started walking to the door when he called out to me.
Amy, one last thing.
Just
What
leave,
now?
girl?
I looked back in frustration and he suddenly got up. He grabbed his Polaroid camera from the shelf nearby and said,
Do you mind if I take a picture of you, Amy?
I ran away.
Girl.
He didn't follow me. When I returned home, I broke down into tears. I wanted to burn the money he gave me, but then all that I had to put up with would have been in vain. I reported him to the cops the next day, so that what he did to me doesn't happen to any other girls. But when the cops looked him up at his address, they said no one lived there.
Crazy. I knew he could walk. That nasty bastard.
I don't think that I'll ever work again. Let me tell you why. My name is Anna, and I'm experiencing one of the most traumatizing moments of my life. It started a day ago when I looked through the papers for a new job. I live in government housing and I was unemployed, so a listing quickly caught my eye. Set assistant, it said. All I had to do was call in and give my name and address, so I did.
Hello.
Why would
I'm
you-
calling about the set assistant position.
Why would you give
Is it
your
still
address
available?
to
Hello, yes,
someone
it is.
asking you to
Can I
apply
have
for
your
a
name
job?
and address? It was a big mistake, but I gave the man on the other line my name and address, and he said I could start right away. He gave me the address of the warehouse, and I hopped on a bus to get there.
Like,
When
y'all
I
know not to
arrived,
give
the
y'all
air
address
was
to
thick
nobody,
with the smell
right?
of mold and decay. The floor was littered with broken and discarded items. I had a feeling that this wasn't going to be the job I thought it was. The
It's
tall,
not.
imposing manager greeted me. As I looked upward, I couldn't help but feel off-put by his appearance. His skin was a mottled gray and yellowed color, and his eyes were shaped like those of a snake. His very thin lips were curved
women like that in
downward,
real life.
as if he was always frowning. You're the set assistant, right? Your job is to move furniture and props around when they're needed. Don't open any boxes. That's the #1 rule.
Okay,
have to be
that
fair.
makes sense.
Still, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. But the manager was swift and brief with his introduction, and soon I was working. I hadn't even realized that he had followed me until he was right behind me, watching me move boxes and furniture around. As the hours dragged on, the manager left me to complete my work and disappeared entirely. As for the boxes that I had to move, they kept getting heavier and heavier, till I was straining with each step. I felt like I was being watched, and it made me uncomfortable. I couldn't help myself. I probably would have been safe if I hadn't, but you understand that I'm a curious person, and I needed to know what I was
don't
moving.
understand.
And so, I opened one of the boxes. Some packing peanuts spilled out. I recoiled from the smell, which drafted upward out of the box, a rotten and sickly smell. And then I saw it, a hand, rotting
That's
and
Joe
mangled,
Nosey ass
sticking out
kid.
of the packing peanuts. Just then, I heard a voice behind me. It was the manager. He shouted at me, rage filling his voice. What did I tell you about touching the boxes? I told you not to touch the boxes!
You better lie, say it broke
In his
open.
hand, he held a crowbar, and he waved it at me wildly. You're fired! Fired! He grabbed me roughly by the arm and dragged me, struggling, into a back room. He pushed me onto a chair and handcuffed my hands to the
Girl, why would
armrests
you
on
let all
either
this
side.
happen?
He sighed.
What are you doing? Let me go!
No. I can't do that. You're a witness now. I would have let you transfer my product and paid you well to do it, but now that you know what I'm doing, I can't trust you. Now I need to call someone who will take care of you. He walked out of the room, his lanky body almost dancing away, leaving me alone to struggle with the handcuffs. I guess I was lucky that I was so poor because my thin wrists were able to slip out of the cuffs. Desperate, I ran out of the warehouse, my heart pounding in my chest. The manager had disappeared into a small room, and I figured he was on the
Hurry
phone
up,
with
girl.
someone.
What you looking
If he
for?
caught me now, I would be done for.
You would.
I ran and ran until I got to a police station. Breathless, I told the officers my story. They dispatched a few officers to the warehouse, and one of the officers said he'd drive me home, and I gratefully accepted. As we drove, however, I quickly realized something.
You gave them your
Where are you headed?
your address.
This isn't the way to my house.
Ooh.
I'm just taking a quick detour. Don't worry about it.
Girl, no, he's
But in
not.
the mirror, I could see the evil glint in his eyes. And then I realized where he was driving. Back to the warehouse where I had just escaped. I grabbed the handle of the door, threw
Locked.
it open, and jumped out of the car while it was
Oh.
still moving.
It's supposed to
I
be
ran
locked.
and ran until I reached home, my arms and legs burning with exhaustion. I hid in my bedroom, not knowing who to tell or what
Girl,
to
but you
do.
gave them your
Who should I
address.
tell? What do I do? As I sat there panicking, I suddenly heard my phone ring. I shouldn't have answered the unknown caller, but I did. I recognized the voice on the other side of the line immediately.
The man.
You're not thinking straight, are you? I'm coming to your house now. Don't move a muscle. I quickly hung up the phone and
left.
scrambled away from the window, turning off all the lights and locking every door. With a sinking
You
feeling in
calling
my
911,
heart, I
or do you have a
realized
knife?
that I had stupidly given the manager my address.
Girl,
At that
we've been
moment, I felt more scared than I ever had in my life. All I could do was wait and hope he would go away if I stayed perfectly still and silent. I could hear the car pull up outside,
Why would
and I
you
prayed
stay?
that he had changed his mind.
He
But
didn't.
then, I heard the door handle turn, and my heart sank.
He got
I
your keys.
knew I was in trouble.
That's not how you end a story. IMR. You know you should have showed us something. You could have showed us her getting snatched. You could have showed us something. Don't you show him just opening the damn door. Boy. Girl. Whoever run the page. That's not how you end no story. Don't do that. Don't you do that. You did that a time before when it was a real good story. Had us on the edge of the seat when the little girl had went and spent the night at her friend's house. I don't know if y'all remember this with me, but the little girl had went and spent the night at her friend's house. They went on a little retreat together, and the families tried to cut them up and eat them or something. And she had got away, and she was under something or in a closet telling us her story, and everything that was just about to get her, she was just about to escape, and then the story ended. Don't you do this. This ain't what you do. You tell us how the story ends. Start to finish. Either 12 come, they die, or something happen. Don't you do this.
I was in trouble.
I hate a cliffhanger. Don't you leave me on
I
no
used
damn
to work
cliff.
as a caregiver in an old age home. Taking care of old people can be hectic and
Could be
sad
my
at the
tough
same
topic.
time. Seeing them on their deathbed asking about their families who hardly visit them made my heart ache. My supervisor often told me not to get too attached to the patients as it could hurt in the end, and I
Mhm.
guess I've always been a sympathetic person. So, this one time, a new patient named Diane came to our facility. She was suffering from dementia and was already 75 years old. Now
Oh.
every patient, especially the most critical ones, gets certain caregivers who are experts in the required field. And this is how I came across Miles. He used to be the senior manager, and he maintained quite an odd personality. First of all, he looked very different, not in a way pleasing to the eyes, and other employees kind of stayed away from him. I heard he was very rude and strict with newcomers, as I
I
was
think
the
that's the
new
girl.
one joining the team.
This the girl, little short one. I think she was she the person that had killed the pizza guy, or did she kill the yoga instructor? No, she didn't kill the yoga instructor. She killed someone in one of my. Oh, yep, she was the mom. I think of the Burger King stories that I did. I love pinning them to other stories. I'm sorry. Because the girl in the back that's tan, she was in one of my stalker stories. She had helped somebody out and then decided to stalk him as well. She was about to send the house on fire. So y'all gotta go through my playlist if you want to know what I'm talking about. Because I love pinning them to other stories. And then the little short girl, she, her name was supposed to be Pam. She had a Pam name tag on. I want to say it was Burger King. She had killed some boy because some boy had played with her daughter and dated her daughter and then humped her and left her, so her daughter killed herself and she had went and killed him. That's her. I remember her. I'm good with it.
I was already nervous, and when I got appointed to work under Miles, I almost crapped my pants. Before Diane's arrival, Miles called me into his office.
May I come in, sir?
Don't waste my time, silly. Just come in.
I
Boy.
went in. Miles checked me out from head to toe and it gave me the creeps. His widespread eyes made it very weird to maintain eye contact with
Look,
him.
just like Stewie's
So, you must be the new girl.
Yes, sir.
Well, at least you're pleasing on the eyes.
I got the undertone of his statement, but being the new one on the job, I kept quiet. It wasn't anything new to me as a woman, so I ignored it. Miles handed me that.
No. Pizza weed. Sorry, y'all. No. If you are uncomfortable at a job, let them people know. Immediately. I don't care if you end up getting fired. Because once you let someone run over you once, they're going to keep doing it again. Again, and again, and again. You know? So, it don't matter if you're new at a job. If you feel uncomfortable somewhere, let somebody know. Most of the time, I feel like HR is for the company. It's not for the people for real, because I've had certain situations with HR, but that's just my story. That don't have to be yours. So if you have something going on with your job and you're trusting your HR, call them folks. They're supposed to be in charge of the company. They're supposed to make sure that stuff don't get out of the company, meaning they're supposed to fire the people that they're supposed to fire. No.
It wasn't anything new to me as a woman, so I ignored it. Miles handed me that.
I ignored the whole woman statement because men get harassed as well. I don't know if you follow my Instagram chatting at Miss T Horton, but if you do, I've posted a video. Like, I think at the beginning of the month, I post a lot of videos in my reels. So if you go through them, you'll see it. But it's this woman that had like kissed on this man, and obviously he don't want to be kissed on by her. And people take and it's in a work setting, that's why I'm mentioning it, because it's at work. And people take very lightly to men being harassed, but men and women both be harassed. If someone don't want you talking to them or touching them or any of those things, you know, if someone tells you to leave them alone or they're not interested in you and you keep bothering them, you are harassing them at that point. Man or female. Man or woman, excuse me. You know, like, stop playing with people.
It wasn't anything new to me as a woman, so I ignored it. Miles handed me Diane's medicine chart and briefed me on my duty every day. As far as I realized, he was going to sit in his office and relax, and I'd be the one pulling the work of two people. I was getting paid at the end of the day, so I didn't mind it. Diane was very sweet and probably the easiest patient to be with. She had no tantrums as she could barely remember what she wanted. I used to wake her up and then draw her a bath. I fed her and also read stories to her so she could go to sleep. She couldn't remember my name, but within a week, she started to recognize my face. One day while I was bathing her, I saw bruises on her wrist. It made me worried as I was sure there was no way she could have done that to herself. I thought to take this matter to Miles before going to the ultimate supervisor. When I entered his office, I saw him sitting close to Rita, another female caregiver, and smiling at her very creepily. Me seeing Rita's scared face changed into one of relief, and I realized what was happening here. Miles was probably creeping her out as he does with all the girls.
What do you want? Can't you knock?
I thought it would be a waste of your time. I can see you're pretty busy, but I needed to talk to you about Diane.
Period.
Miles' face turned red in anger. He didn't expect me to answer him like that. He looked at Rita and then looked at the door. Rita got the hint, and like a caged bird being freed, she drifted out of his office in a wink.
It better be important, or I'll...
Diane has bruises on her wrists. I think someone did that to her.
Oh, it's nothing. They get annoying occasionally, so we need to straighten them up sometimes.
Now my jaw dropped.
What do you mean?
Stick to your job! Do you understand that?
Yes. Fine.
I left his office with so many questions on my mind. I knew Miles had something to do with Diane's bruises. Is he the one who gave them to her? That night, I chose to stay back and watch what Miles does during the night shift. Around 9 o'clock, I saw Miles heading into Diane's room. I followed him quietly. The door was slightly open so I could peek in easily. Diane's feeble screams could be heard from the room.
No! Stop that! You're hurting me! Please!
It's a wave, that's all. Enjoy it.
Boy.
Please stop. I'm scared.
Diane was lying on her bed and Miles was shaking it pretty violently. His eyes widened in cruel joy witnessing the old lady's traumatized behavior.
Open that damn
So,
door.
This is what he does to the patients when no one's around. What a sick psycho. He then stopped shaking the bed and went to the bathroom. I couldn't see what he was doing in there, but a few seconds later he came back out with the cleaning cloth. He started flicking the cloth on Diane's face while laughing like a maniac.
Get it, Granny! This is what you deserve!
Chemicals on it.
Get it!
The cloth he was throwing at her face is used to clean the toilet. My stomach churned in disgust. What kind of
Open the
person
damn
is this?
door.
And how come no one has reported him yet? Maybe no one has witnessed him doing this. I slowly took out my phone and started recording. I wanted to stop him and save Diane from what she was going through. But at the
But
same
you didn't
time,
because
I needed to gather evidence to get this guy fired forever.
Ain't
He
shit.
danced and made vile faces at Diane as she kept on pleading with him to leave her alone. Suddenly, Diane grabbed the tissue box from her bed and threw it at Miles. Even in that stage of her life, the old lady hadn't forgotten how to fight back.
Oh, being feisty, huh? I'll teach you the real deal now.
Miles grabbed her wrists and started twisting them in the opposite direction.
Ouch. Don't do that. Stop it. Stop.
Open
Why?
the door
I
now.
thought you liked it.
I've had enough. Please. It hurts.
Tears rolled down my eyes.
Girl,
I just
not
wanted to
enough.
jump in and crush every bone in this freak's body. But recording
you
the video
didn't.
was essential. Otherwise, no one would believe me. Once I had enough recorded, I rushed to the supervisor. I showed him the video and he couldn't believe his eyes. Miles was called immediately to his office and then reported to the police too. At first, he denied all the claims. But of course he did. But then after seeing the video, his face turned pale. Diane's family was informed and they made sure Miles got what he deserved. I still
Jail.
remember the look
I
in
hope
his
they
eyes when
sued
the cops
fucking
arrested him
hospital
and took him away.
Like,
It was like he was hell-bent
could've
on ruining
recorded,
my
but you
life
could've
and all he
also helped.
needed was the chance. I never heard from or saw him after that, and honestly, I have so much hatred for that freak that it boils my blood to even think about him.
big football head ass bastard. I enjoyed that one. That was a good one. But I love me a good granny, so don't be sitting there bothering no grannies. I probably wouldn't even I got the full footage. I would have went in there and started bashing his head with something. Cause you ain't about to sit there and bother no granny in my face. Boy, are you serious? Go on and comment which one was your favorites. I feel like I love them all. Excuse me. And until next time, you guys, don't forget to like the video. And bye. I love you guys.